Everybody sing freedom. Man and woman sing freedom. Everybody sing freedom.
Thank you, Azari and Kern, our chairpersons for tonight. Good night to everyone here, this massive crowd at Ram Prasad building here. I'd like to say good night. Good night to my political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bissessa, my parliamentarian colleagues. I'd like to say good night to one of our great lawyers, Kyle Taklal Singh, that is here tonight. Our condolences at his disaster of his home burning down a couple of weeks ago. I would like to say good night to my massive crowd from Pointe-à-Pierre, my people, my family here tonight. Journey John told me to bring people, so I brought them here tonight. Tonight I joined the United National Congress virtual platform to send a message to all citizens of this nation. Tonight, wherever you are, we can all agree that Trinidad and Tobago, as we know it, cannot survive much longer under this wicked PNM. This is no longer about partisan politics, but it is about the people. It is about the people of this nation who, regardless of economic, social, or religious differences, are now facing growing peril and turmoil from a wicked government that simply does not care. Do you agree? The evidence that this government doesn't care is clear. It is time to put a stop to the malicious erosion of our liberty, prosperity, and opportunity, and our democracy in our country. A government of smoke screens that hide the chaos in our energy sector, and tonight I'll touch a bit on the energy sector because it is critical. In 1 month's time, we will be 4 years on November 30th that this wicked government has shut down our refinery and Petrotrin. And I'll talk about that later. They want you to believe that as a government, they have turned around our energy sector. They want you to believe that the many joyrides of Minister Young as Minister of Energy to energy conferences around the world represents progress. They want you to believe that meetings with Maduro in Venezuela will magically bring gas to our country. They boast that they have turned around the energy sector from 2015, yet how come they have never increased oil and gas production since 2015? It is only under the Kamla Prasad-led government that we saw an increase in our oil production and gas. They boast that they save the energy. They boast that they save the energy sector. Yet they have the record for the most plant closures in history in Point Lisas. Businesses are leaving our shores, going to Guyana. They are now promoting NGC's profit. But what about, and I ask, what about that $240 million of wastage at NGC? And don't forget the Delcy Rodriguez visit during the COVID time. This country must not be fooled, misled, or mama guide into thinking that this nation's energy sector has recovered, performing or even stable based on the statements of Minister of Finance Carl Minbert, that revenue from oil companies have doubled in the last fiscal year from $5.5 billion to $10.45 billion. Gas production is struggling to the point that the projection for the next year is the lowest in our history over the last 20 years. High revenues does not mean growth. The Minister of Finance's own review of the economy of 2022 demonstrated that every single aspect of our energy sector was in decline and contraction. Exploration has been down, drilling down. Petrochemical production is also down. What have the citizens who are the real owners of the oil and gas of this country received for the increase in revenue? The Prime Minister Rowley has told oil companies in the past that he represents citizens of this country who are the shareholders in our energy sector. And we ask tonight to Rowley, where is our dividends? If oil revenue doubled beyond what was expected, why did the government remove the subsidy? Why did they put a cap on the subsidy? Why didn't they introduce the fuel grants immediately as the price increased, as they promised in the budget? And I'm sure my leader will talk about that later. Yet again, Minister Young attends another energy conference in Egypt. And I'm sure tomorrow night, I understand they have a meeting in Chaguanas, called somewhere in the Signature Hall. And you know who owns Signature Hall? A man named Bullet. And we all know Anil Roberts has talked about Bullet. So I am sure in tomorrow morning show of Anil, he'll talk about the Bullet in Chaguanas East, that the PNM is having a meeting tomorrow. And we'll hear more about that. Over the past week, we have seen the Minister of Energy highlight that Minister Young was accompanied by the ministry's permanent secretary to Egypt. Yet on a trip to Europe, which he went with Rowley, no mention was made of public servants attending with the Prime Minister and Minister of Energy. Were the public servants and the ministry officials left out on a trip in Europe because the government had some clandestine deals to get done within the energy companies? Without these professionals, who would have guided the Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy in the nation's best interests? In 2017, both Young and the Prime Minister crashed point leases when they negotiated high gas prices with the energy companies in Houston without ministry officials. The government must tell the population, excluding the gas price, what were the incentives that they promised BP in London the other day. Are we seeing another Houston 2.0? I want to turn to Petrotrin here tonight. And I want to take my time. In 30 days' time, this country would mark the 4th memorial of the death and burial of Petrotrin. On November 30th, 2018, this government destroyed the fuel security, our energy security and forex reliability of Trinidad and Tobago when they shut down Petrotrin. September 22nd, 2005. Malcolm Jones Petrotrin Board, September 22nd, 2005, enters into a deal for WGTL. The PNM likes to tell the population that Petrotrin was debt burden, but it is on this day, in September 22nd, 2005, that Petrotrin was placed in billions of debt under Malcolm Jones. On October the 8th, 2015, 1 month after general elections in 2015, Malcolm Jones was appointed to the Energy Standing Committee chaired by Prime Minister Rowley. On March 2nd, 2016, the following year, the civil case against Malcolm Jones for his decision on Petrotrin was discontinued by the Prime Minister Rowley government based on the advice of King's Counsel, Vincent Nelson, and we know the name Vincent Nelson. On March 23rd, the same month, 2016, Malcolm Jones resigns from the Energy Committee chaired by Prime Minister Rowley. On January 23rd, 2017, the following year, the Minister of Finance, Imbert, tells the Energy Conference that Petrotrin, hear this, is the country's best chance to reduce the decline in oil production. So Imbert was in favor of Petrotrin in 2017. August 28, 2018, Petrotrin Chairman Wilfred Esme said the board recommended shutting down the refinery and retrenching the workers. September 4th, 2018, right here in Marabella Community Center in my constituency, September 4, 2018, Prime Minister Rowley tells the country he's not closing down Petrotrin. If you miss, and you know the famous thing, if you're opening the refrigerator and you're closing it, he's not shutting down Petrotrin. September 16, 2018, Petrotrin Chairman Espinay said that all the workers going home, all. 2 weeks after, when Rowley said he's not shutting down Petrotrin. November 30th, 2018, in 1 month's time, 4 years since Petrotrin by this wicked government shut down our Petrotrin. September 20th, 2019, Imbert, Minister of Finance, announces in Parliament that the Patriot Energy, OWTU, will win the bid for the refinery. November 8, 2019, Prime Minister Rowley in a local government election meeting says he will stand with OWTU to get the refinery. July 16, 2020, Prime Minister Rowley on an election campaign, 2020, July 16, says we are ready to sign the refinery over to OWTU. October 31st, 2020, patriotic bid OWTU was rejected by this government. January 19, 2020, 2021, the second patriotic bid was rejected. So I have shown you a timeline from 2005 with Malcolm Jones with WGTL right up to 2021. This government has been fooling this nation and OWTU over the last 5 to 6 years. They have played the fool with our refinery. And you know what is interesting? In Guyana, on the Guardian, the 18th to the 10th, 2022, Guyana is seeking interest in establishing their own oil refinery for, you know what? For their national security purposes. We had that. We had that. I see time is not on my side here tonight. I want to talk about Nikeone. Nikeone was a product came out of the same WGTL. March the 8th, 2021, Nikeone is opened by Prime Minister Rowley, who hails it as a resounding success. March 8, 2021. 17th of March 2021, Guardian reports that Nikeone facing production problems. CEO Ainsley Gill says they are facing teething problems. 7th April 2021, less than a month, an explosion at Nikeone, which rocked the fence line communities of Marabella and Gasparillo and Pointe-a-Pierre. And up to the day, we cannot get a justification report on what caused that blast. And we saw on the 19th October this month, Nikeone publishes an advertisement in the papers saying that they are ready to restart the plant, my brothers and sisters. And we have been calling for that report to be made public in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are yet to find any solutions or any answers. I want to tell the Minister of Finance here tonight, there is no such thing as MP Tanku said, almost balanced. There is no such thing as an almost succeeding. His entire 7 years as Minister of Finance has never been one of succeeding. No other minister has done this country a grave injustice and disservice like the Minister of Finance, whose sole responsibility has been to deliver growth for our country. Yet he has failed time and time over the last 7 years. Minister Imbert, as Dave Tanku said, besides losing in the economy, he's now also losing in court constantly. He has lost more than any other finance minister. So he has lost to Jawala Ramran, and the country will be paying millions, the taxpayers will be paying millions of dollars. I want to say this wicked government. Today I read in the papers that came out online on the 31st of October 2022. And the headline is State to Compensate an Ex-Employee of the Equal Opportunity Commission for Breaches of Her Right, the ex-CEO. They fired the ex-CEO under this government, and I know the individual, I know the person. And the person has been working as a CEO of Equal Opportunity Commission since 2011 under us, under the Kamala-led government. And she was fired and terminated in 2021 by this wicked government. She took them to court, and her great lawyer, Anna Ramlogan, won her case today. So I wait to see if they're going to challenge it again. As my time is coming to an end, I want to say a little bit about the scrap iron industry. The scrap iron industry, at least 50% of that scrap iron industry comes from Claxton Bay in the constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre. And I'm asking the Attorney General, why is it taking 6 months to find a solution for the scrap iron industry? He has told us he has shut it down to give him 6 months' time to pass legislation. It has been over close to 3 months, and we are asking to bring that legislation with haste to the Parliament so we can discuss it and get that economy, that industry going again for the people of Pointe-a-Pierre. I want to say a little bit about Rowley, and it's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow the PNM is having a public meeting in Chaguanas by bullet. Before they come clean on the Nelson Gate and the millions wasted, brace yourselves for tomorrow for some lies on the UNC. And the Prime Minister will be buffing everyone for everything that's going wrong in Trinidad and Tobago except himself. Each time, his escape strategy is to bully, whine, wave, dance, shake his head, bulldoze his way out of shouting, screaming, and playing more vexed than everybody else. And we are telling this country, we fed up with that, Rowley. We fed up with that. So as I end here tonight, as I come to a close, tonight I want to demand justice, equality, equity, and accountability for two major issues in my constituency of Pointe-a-Pierre. Two of the divers who tragically lost their lives in Paria are from Pointe-a-Pierre. As the MP, I'm calling on this government to give all the support of the Commission of Inquiry so these families can get answers and justice. Another major hindrance in my constituency faced each day is our roads. How much more protests to have that the roads must be repaired? How many more letters must I write and beg Sinanan and the local government minister for help? We pay taxes just like those in the PNM area, and we deserve to be treated equally. The roads in Pointe-a-Pierre need repairs. This PNM government is desperate. They know that they lack the ability to take this nation forward. They know they lack the political will and intellect to provide a better country. And as a result, they will revert to any measure possible to stay in office and hide their failures. We will not be intimidated by their tyrannical antics. They will try to blemish and silence us, but we are not afraid. They have tried to come at me, but I am not afraid. Today I thank our leader. Today I thank our leader, our members and my constituents of Pointe-a-Pierre for their support against the attack of this government. I will not be distracted, deterred or even intimidated from undertaking my role to stand up for my constituents against a government that continues to place our population under significant socio-economic burdens. The sun will rise again, my brothers and sisters, and the UNC and the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar will rise and be your next Prime Minister for good governance in our country. I say good night and thank you.
If you cut me, you go